is at the Oaks. So it's not at Freddy's.
Because there's not a Freddy's anymore.
Oh, yeah. They're Tabooly.
That was good. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
They use pictures of me doing this, and I'm thinking, and if I close my eyes, it looks like I'm sleeping. People post pictures of me.
Oh,
sleeping.
they think you're sleeping.
Well, or like I'm just sitting back like this when I go to bed. On the Broken Arrow City Council session to order. Roll call.
Ford,
Here?
Parks, Gillespie,
Here.
Wimpy.
Here. Item 3 is general council business. Item 3A, consideration, discussion, and action by council interviewing potential candidates to fill the Broken Arrow City Council Ward 4 vacancy pursuant to 11 OS Section 8-109. I'm gonna start by keeping my comments brief since we are on a tight timeline. I'll say it's wonderful to see so many applicants that sent in their interest. It's a very important position, so I was glad to see so many that were interested in it. I know that we will take into consideration each candidate's interest. I know this will be a difficult decision for all of us because we've got so many impressive nominees that will contribute positively to the council as a whole and will help move our city forward. I want to remind each candidate that you have 5 minutes to speak. That way we can get out of here in a timely manner. And then that'll hopefully give us a time to be able to ask additional questions if we have any. And then I know there are a couple of things that we'd like for each candidate to know up front. We want to make sure that you're aware of the time commitment. It's definitely not just a part-time gig. The commitment as a city council to Broken Arrow is very time consuming, and it's a volunteer position, which is the second option or item that I wanted to make sure everybody knows. This is a 100% volunteer position with no compensation. It's a lot of hard work, but it's definitely worth it. I believe the people who govern closest to the people are the most effective. We want to ensure that the next counselor for Ward 4 is a strong and visible voice for that ward as well as the rest of the city, and continues the spirit of goodwill and cooperation that exists among the members of the council currently. With that, we can begin hearing from the candidates. So I'm going to just go in the order. Should we go in the order that was received by email or?
The documents you have in front of you may not have been scanned in that order. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I had staff scan those.
Maybe I'll just go in the order that
packets.
they are in this stack.
Okay.
Okay. So we have Mr. Justin Green. First up.
Good evening. I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be here today, and I think it's an honor to have this opportunity to even be considered for a position for City Council for Broken Arrow. First off, I will say that I did not have the privilege of growing up here in Broken Arrow, but I got here as soon as I could. I was born and raised in a small town of Cushing, Oklahoma. I am the fourth child out of 5. I was raised by a single mother who worked very hard to raise us with the small town values, I like to say, of honesty, integrity, hard work, loyalty, and serving others. My mother had a big role in my life, a big influence in my life. She worked multiple jobs to make sure that we had the things that we needed. We didn't always have things we wanted, but we had the things that we needed. As did anybody else in our neighborhood. If she could help, she helped. So I am who I am because of her, and I'm here today for that reason. Excuse me. After growing up, I went to school at Oklahoma State University, the University of Oklahoma, if you ask me. I graduated with a degree in business with the emphasis in finance. I've never been one who was afraid of hard work. I've worked at least 2 jobs ever since I was 15 years old. I spent a lot of my career working in the field of finance. I was a financial service analyst at Bank of Oklahoma, Bank of the West. I worked for WorldCom, which was a Fortune 500 company back in the day. I spent some time working in ministry as well. I serve here in Broken Arrow. I like to volunteer in various aspects. I serve in my church. I work with the youth and children's, also work on part of the worship team. I'm also the coordinator for security for our church, which is Battle Creek Church here in Broken Arrow, and we have 6 campuses across the state. I currently serve as a corporal with the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office. I supervise the school resource officers, including here in Broken Arrow, our Tulsa Tech campus. We have resource officers that work across the county. And I consider it an honor and opportunity to be able to serve. That was one of the values that was instilled in me from a very young age, was to be a person who is a servant, to give back. And that's why I want to be here today. I continue to look for opportunities to serve those around me, in my community, my family, my neighborhood. I think this is a great opportunity for that, to be able to come in and to be a voice for the people around me, to listen, and to give back. So it's just an honor to be able to be here and to be considered for this position. I'm not a person, again, not afraid of hard work, not afraid of getting involved. I love being out amongst the people. As you can tell, I'm a public servant by my job, by my very nature. And I think this is just a great extension of that opportunity to be a servant here in Broken Arrow to those around me, and just to be that extension of a helpful hand. Sorry, but I'm not for sure what else you're wanting to hear out of this presentation. Again, I've worked in finance. I've worked in property management. I owned my own business. I owned and started and ran a catering business for a while before going to the sheriff's office. Not only do I work as the supervisor for the school resource officers, I coordinate a couple of our special teams. I'm the commander for our honor guard, where we serve citizens across the state, honoring our fallen brothers and sisters. I'm a team leader for our peer support team, where we lift up each other and help those who we work with who are in maybe in need. I'm also a leader on our special response team. So I'm not afraid. I'm not a stranger of leadership and being up in front and doing things the right way. I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm not afraid of getting my hands dirty. But again, it's a pleasure to be here and have this opportunity. So I will leave that with that and surrender my last minute.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Green? So we met a few years ago. So do I have your mom's dresser? Is
Yes,
that,
you do.
yeah.
Yes,
So we
you
met
do.
off of Facebook Marketplace. I actually went and bought a dresser, which I have restored, and I need to send you a picture of it because it's beautiful. It's in
Fantastic.
my guest bedroom.
Fantastic.
And so,
Form of question.
yes,
Do you have a
exactly.
question?
But so that kind of, I was like, oh my gosh, this woman you're talking about, I have her furniture in my house right now.
Yes, you do.
So, how do you, one of the questions that I have for you, because I've looked over all of these,
Mhm.
the resumes, and you have an amazing resume, is how will you, I feel like it could be a conflict of interest. I'm sure you knew this question was coming,
Mhm.
that you serve as Tulsa County Sheriff. And and we are in Tulsa County. And we have votes that, even though we don't vote on Tulsa County Sheriff's Office, we do vote on things that pertain to Tulsa County. So how are you justifying that you can serve and not have a conflict?
Well, I actually worked
Explain
very
that.
hard on that to make sure that it wasn't going to be an issue. I started off by talking to my undersheriff, my sheriff, and we spoke and had a conversation with the district attorney for Tulsa County, who did his research. We also spoke with the City of Broken Arrow Legal, who also did their research, came to the same conclusion. There is a statute that exempts me as a Tulsa County employee of serving in a municipal role. In addition to that, we also reached out to the Attorney General for the state of Oklahoma, who agreed with the local attorney and the county attorney that exemption does qualify me to serve in this role.
I don't really have a question. I just was going to just make a statement for the rest of the council's consideration. I've known Justin for over 20 years. I actually worked with him when I was at the Crime Commission way back in the day. And then also while I was at the Broken Arrow Police Department, he was my counterpart with Tulsa County. So he was the person I would contact when we needed Tulsa County to be in our city to do, at events or whatever. And I've always known Justin to be an outstanding
Thank you.
man and true to his word and hardworking. And I think he would be a great candidate for this position.
Thank you.
Any questions? And you do serve at a very great church.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
All right. If there's no further questions, then we'll call the next one. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up is Mr. Raymond Vile.
If you don't mind, I'm going to read this. That way I don't get lost in my thoughts and go over my 5 minutes. Good evening. I'm Raymond Vile, and I'm here this evening to present myself to you as a candidate for the open Ward 4 position. I am a longtime Broken Arrow resident, having moved to Broken Arrow from New York as a young child. I attended Broken Arrow Public Schools from kindergarten through my graduation in 1996. And after graduation, I attended Oklahoma State University, earning my bachelor's degree in 2017. Growing up in Broken Arrow, we were always involved in different sports, functions, events with the city. From elementary school into high school, I was involved with Boy Scouts, earning my Eagle Scout at an early age, as well as both wrestling and football. I was very active with my church here in Broken Arrow and still am a member today of my childhood parish. I met my wife, Lindsay, in Broken Arrow. We have 3 great kids. 2 of them are now adults, so they're not kids anymore, but, still. In May 2000, I enlisted in the United States Air Force and served multiple overseas and combat deployments. And in September of 2011, I was injured during combat operations while serving in Afghanistan. And due to multiple injuries and multiple surgeries, I was medically retired from active duty service in February of 2015. Since my retirement, I've made it my mission to refocus my attention on becoming a better version of myself, especially who I was while I was in the military. And today I'm back at work, and I work as a crew chief with American Airlines, as well as I'm avid in my training with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here at a local gym. My hope as a counselor is just to continue my service to the community. This is my home. It is where I've raised my family, and it's where I plan to stay. I just want to thank you for allowing me to get up here and speak in front of you today.
Well, and I know I've known your family for an awfully long time and love them dearly. So I was happy when I saw you throw your name in there. So
And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
too.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
I see you're also Purple Heart.
Yes.
It's not really a medal that you want to earn, but
Right.
thank you again for your service.
Likewise, I thank you for your service too.
Thank you.
any questions?
One question I have, as far, and I actually meant to ask this of Justin too, so I'm gonna have to, I don't know, pull him back. But if you, time commitment with your full-time job.
Yes.
I want to, because I do feel like that we've kind of changed the standard.
Yeah.
And it maybe scared some people off of what it means to be a city councilor in Broken Arrow because of the time commitment that we put in personally. And I want to make sure that you are, as someone that works full-time, and which I've always worked full-time up until just recently as well. And I'll be going back to work full-time sometime soon. But it's a time commitment. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of that and that you are willing to make that commitment and sacrifice.
Very much so. I've already spoken with my leadership at work, and they've approved me to take the time off from work. I work currently the afternoon shift. So if there is a function or a meeting that I have to be at, I can take that off without pay, or I can shift swap and work that shift for somebody else and have them cover me while I'm gone. In September, I will be going to overnights, so it won't be an issue at all.
Okay.
I will say too, and I'm sure he probably reached out to every one of you, but he did reach
Mhm.
out when he
Yes.
considered it and
Yeah.
talked, and it was a nice conversation. And he wanted to
Yeah.
know more about like what's expected and that type of thing. And I appreciate you taking the time to do that for
Yeah.
sure.
And Justin did as well.
Yeah.
So thank
Yes.
you. So.
Any other questions?
Question.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next one I have is Dr. Roy Wood, and I'm going to read his letter if you guys don't mind, because he's on his way back from Australia right now. They've been at a Rotary convention for quite a while, but he's headed home. So, dear council members, I am writing to express my strong interest in serving on the Broken Arrow City Council, specifically representing the citizens of Ward 4. With my background and experience, I believe that I can provide a valuable contribution to the council and help steer the city towards even greater success. As a Navy veteran with 24 years of service, I am passionate about serving my community and country. My academic achievements, including advanced degrees in business, have further equipped me with the knowledge and skills necessary to tackle complex challenges. Currently, I work at Northeastern State University in Broken Arrow, where I have served as campus dean and associate professor of business. In this capacity, I've gained a deep understanding of the needs of our community and the opportunities for growth. I am also the owner of Palo Verde Consulting LLC, where I have helped small business owners and entrepreneurs, and I understand firsthand the challenges facing many small business emerging from the pandemic. I have actively engaged in the community and have served in various leadership positions. I am a 2017 graduate of Leadership Broken Arrow and served as a chair in 2018. Additionally, I have chaired the Citizens Advisory Committee for New Orleans Square, an active member of the Broken Arrow Rotary Club. I served as president last year and now serve as treasurer. I am also a member of the Broken Arrow Chamber of Commerce and frequently volunteer for their sponsored events. Broken Arrow is a fantastic city, and I strongly believe in its potential to be even better. As a council member, I will prioritize pro-business policies that encourage growth and attract new business industries. I am committed to promoting the best interests of Ward 4 and Broken Arrow as a whole, and I'm eager to work for the residents of this great community. Thank you for your consideration of my application. I look forward to the opportunity to speak with you further and offer my skills and dedication to the council. Sincerely, Roy L. Wood. All right.
And I don't think anybody just can say that Roy isn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
So Lisa and
he
I
has like a
serve-
10-page
Yeah.
resume. I mean, it's.
Lisa and I serve on Rotary together with him and have for a number of years. And
He is very organized and very engaged, for sure.
very,
And he's
very-
doctor.
And I'm still flipping through his resume, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he's a great man.
I mean, we've got some amazing people. that have
We
come.
do.
So, okay.
This is hard.
All right, next up, Jennifer Grossi. And I was thrilled to see a female that submitted, so. Hi there.
Hello, thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. My name is Jennifer Grossi. My husband and I have been in Ward 4 for 11 years. We're originally from California, but like lots of people, we've actually been in Oklahoma for about 23 years, but living in Broken Arrow for about 11. We're a homeschooling family and have been for about 12 years. So I do that. And I also work for my husband's business. He has an insurance agency. And so the reason why I threw my hat, I guess what you would say, is you have so many wonderful qualified people. I have not had an opportunity in my life to kind of visit this side of things. I've just been a citizen and I've been so thrilled with Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow is a wonderful place to live. And I just thought, I would consider serving how I could because I'm just so thankful to be here. We've been here for the time we have, and I've just really not experienced any negativity. I think you guys have done just an amazing job with the Rose District and all the decisions that have been made. And I thought, I need to know how this works. I need to know who are the faces behind all these wonderful things that are improving our city. And so anyways, like I said, I got the email and I just was shocked that, I wasn't really in the know or anything. So, again, I don't know the time commitments and those types of things. It sounds like it's quite time consuming, which, I'm actually might not be the best person, which I'm completely fine with. Like the candidates you have are amazing. So good luck with that. But if anything to come today, I would just like to say thank you. Thank you so much for making this like a great city to live in. And it keeps just getting better. And, how I could help, I think I have a different perspective just because I've been a homeschooling mom. I've just been, like I said, I worked for my husband's insurance office. And so, I talk to people all the time. We're serving people constantly, especially after this Saturday storm. But my personal feeling is, we have 2 high school kids and we've been training them and raising them to be good citizens and to serve and to love people well. And as a parent, if you're not doing that, it's a lot of it's caught and not taught. So, I just wanted to do something hard and show my kids like, hey, you know what, things aren't as intimidating maybe as you think they might be. And so anyways, I don't have a whole lot of other things. I've been on student council. I ran the student council. Like I can tell you those types of things, but it's nearly not as impressive as those other gentlemen. So, but anyways, thank you so much for, just hearing me out. And again, thank you for your service to Broken Arrow. And if you're looking for somebody that can offer a different perspective. Like I said, I've got a ton of homeschooling community, people, and I'm very involved in our church. We go to the assembly in Broken Arrow. We've been there for about 5 or 6 years. We do all their volunteer things from the Night to Shine to, there's so many outreaches that we do, the backpack outreach, all the different things. So, we are very involved in our community in that kind of a way. So thank you very much. If you have any questions for me.
I think we need to send you the link to get involved. Like if depending on the decisions, obviously, but
Yes.
we definitely would love for you to find if council didn't work out, then we'd love for you
Yeah.
to get involved in a committee or just we can get you plugged in.
Yeah.
There's
And I think
lots.
that's great. It's a great place. I wasn't really sure where to start. So
Yeah.
I thought, I'm just going to come and see what the experience is like and see what the best thing is for
Yeah.
the city. So,
Well, I condemn you for like,
but
yeah.
anyways, so
That's it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just let everybody know that has an interest is this council has established an informal policy that on many of the public initiatives or programs that we undertake, that they involve citizens in those to get that input. And so for anyone that is interested, they should let the city clerk know of your interest, because there's no doubt that the council members will put you to work. And it's for a very specific period of time. It doesn't go on unless it's planning commission or the zoning board.
okay.
For example, when we looked at our microtransit, the way we're looking at reimagining how we provide public transportation, there were citizens on there. There were citizens on the New Orleans Square Advisory Committee. So there's tremendous opportunities to get involved for anyone that's interested.
Okay. And how do you typically hear about those things? Are they done
We can send
through-
you the link.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
The city
normally,
normally post things and we discuss them in the council meeting. So, which is,
Is it normally just on the government page?
Yes,
that
And there's
shows
an
you everything?
application that you can fill out and you can check the things that you're interested in. And when those come up, then our court clerk's office will send you information on that. Because you sound like a very busy person. I don't know that you can be sitting there watching our face, our website all the time, but they'll send you
Yes.
things. But I was going to say, I know it takes a lot of courage to get up in front of that microphone. Like, I know we're not intimidating, but like, it's still scary. And so that's, I really hope if you don't make it to be a council member, that you do get involved in other ways, for sure. We'd love to, and anyone, actually, any of the candidates, we'd still love for you to be engaged.
Yeah, you have a
And
lot
as we make appointments, as we select people to serve on these committees, a lot of times we will get back with the city and see if we have any applications, and we go through those applications. I've done that before in making some appointments. So it's good to, if you follow up with the council is saying, follow it up with and put that application in, and that way we'll keep it on file.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, next we have Oscar Ramirez. Hi, sir.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, members of council. My name is Oscar Ramirez. I live in 808 East Carey Place, south of 91st and Lynn Lane, one of the new developments there. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to address you and say a few words on why I am interested in the Ward 4 council seat. In a nutshell, I want to serve in the council to have a say in the direction of Broken Arrow will take as it grows economically and as a community, a wonderful community, by the way. I want to have the opportunity to serve residents of my ward, my neighbors, as well as all residents of Broken Arrow. First, let me tell you a bit about myself and why I think I bring value to the table. I was born in Lima, Peru, and came to the U.S. on a Fulbright scholarship to attend the State University of New York at Stony Brook. While in school, I met the mother of my children, we married, and started a family. I received a BA in economics at Stony Brook and went to work in the insurance industry. While working and calculating life insurance premiums on these giant desk calculators many years ago, I got interested in computer programming and have been in that field ever since. To advance my career, I took positions in different cities across the US, and while in Chicago, I obtained a master's in business administration from the Booth School of Business at the University of Chicago, with a concentration in corporate finance. My interest in finance brought me to a position in Goldman Sachs Engineering, where I held various technical management positions for 18 years. Most recently, I started working in civic tech. This is an area of technology that helps government agencies modernize their computer systems and bring them to the 21st century standards. Civic tech companies have also introduced innovative ways for government to provide additional services and conveniences to its citizens. Think of the parking apps that you now may use for parking, no more chasing quarters and running to the meter. The civic tech startup that I work for specializes in social benefits, and we not only modernize these systems, but we make sure the enhanced ones are easily accessible and easy to use by all citizens. I work remotely. My company's headquarters are in DC, and my current client is the state of New Jersey Department of Labor, where we are modernizing their unemployment insurance system. You may have heard of that system in the news during the pandemic, where there was a cranky mainframe system that didn't work for anybody. But we're replacing it. How did I end up in Tulsa? I came to Tulsa through the Tulsa Remote Program. You may have heard of the program from Kaiser Foundation. This is a program that provides financial incentives for remote tech workers to try Tulsa for 1 year. I love the area and what it can offer, so I decided to stay. As I started looking for places to buy a new home, I looked at Broken Arrow and really liked its beautiful downtown and the new developments being offered. I like a community that is growing, as it offers lots of upside potential for your home investment. Where do I think I bring value to the council? I have not held public office before, but my business experience easily ports to overseeing the management of a city, budgets, allocation of resources, making hard choices when necessary. I think I also bring value to the council from my current experience in overhauling government systems and seeing ways technology can help government serve its citizens better. I am a good listener and would make sure to listen to my constituents' concerns and resolve their issues in the best way I can. I am a recent resident of Broken Arrow, having lived here a bit over 6 months. Although this may be seen as a disadvantage, I see it as a positive. Many residents in Ward 4 have moved there in the last few years, and many more will be arriving in the coming years. We want to make sure we can retain these folks as well as their children. I am impressed with the city's efforts in this last point. The Innovation District project is a great step in that direction. I hope you give me the opportunity to serve the citizens of Ward 4 and all of Broken Arrow, and thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Um,
Wow,
Yeah, your resume went
that's
long.
impressive.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you.
super impressive.
Thank you.
I love it that you came here for Tulsa Remote and ended up in Broken
Broken
Arrow.
Arrow. Yeah, that's what I was
I
thinking.
know. That's
Even
exactly what I was thinking too.
Even when I was looking at Tulsa itself, I could only live in the city boundaries to
Yeah.
actually be part of the program.
Right,
But I was always looking at real estate in Broken Arrow.
yeah.
Look at a better
I love
place.
it.
Well, we can tell how smart you are. We do.
By your decisions, yes.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions?
I don't think I have a question.
I had a question that popped in my head, now I forgot it.
Well, maybe you'll randomly say it when
Yes.
someone else comes up.
You
Maybe.
did such a good job of getting to your answers here before we had a chance to ask the question. So
And I love that you're aware of the Innovation District. It's kind of
Yeah.
a big deal right now.
Oh.
so.
Yeah, in preparation for this meeting, I was watching a lot of videos. So now I'm glad I met you personally. I've
Yeah.
seen you virtually.
Yes.
Specifically, the Innovation District, the Economic Development Corporation, all those items really piqued an interest in me as well.
It's going to be amazing. That is for sure. It's a long time coming.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is Matthew Oglesby. Another one with a really long resume, by the way.
Thank you, council members and City Manager Spurgeon and citizens of Broken Arrow and especially Ward 4. My name is Matthew Oglesby, and my wife and I moved to Broken Arrow about 10 years ago. And we were looking for a place to start our home. There was really no question. We knew a lot of people from Broken Arrow. A lot of my coworkers lived at Broken Arrow. And we decided to purchase our home here. We live in Oak Crest, and we've loved it ever since. It reminds me of my neighborhood I grew up in as a child. And I really want to protect that. I value it and I cherish it. I feel like I have the proper skill set, experience, demeanor, personality to take a seat on the board, or I'm sorry, on the council. I was initiated as a public servant with the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office when I was 20. They taught me the value of being a public servant, and that a public servant isn't just a uniform or a hat you wear, it's a way of life. And so I've instilled that in myself, and it's paid dividends for the past 15 years. I enjoy volunteer work. My next public service role I served in was the Tulsa Housing Authority. I was a property manager for 2 communities where I organized projects. Eventually, I moved into the accounting department because I had a degree in accounting, and it was a focus on government accounting. So I was able to manage the Section 8 budget for Tulsa as well as affiliated grant programs. I also worked at Arvest Bank. I had no interactions with city government until I worked at Arvest. We had a couple of branches, and I was in property management. And we had an issue with one of our branches, and City Manager Spurgeon addressed them very well. I was able to go back to my leadership and explain everything, and so that worked out really nicely. I was very impressed with how quickly I could get an answer. Very approachable. I was able to walk on in and just ask a question, so that was really nice.
Good to hear. Good job.
Good job. That's what I was thinking too. Good job.
So,
You never know, you're gonna be a future boss.
I know, right?
but as a property manager, one of my primary goals was to listen to the concerns of my community. It was to address concerns of my community. I was accountable for everything I said. I take personal responsibility for what I say. I think right now the most valuable skill set I have that would be an asset to the city council is currently I'm an analyst for St. Francis. And at St. Francis, what I do as an analyst is I look at a proposal. I evaluate the proposal from all angles as well as the big picture. And then I evaluate the impact it's going to have on each department or each location. I feel a city council member's job is the same thing. So if you have a proposal that comes before the city council, your goal is to evaluate that proposal, the impact it's going to have on the city as a whole, and that the impact it's going to have on your ward. And look at it from all angles, investigate it, research it. And if you have any concerns, bring them before the council and explain to your constituents why a certain decision was made. I think it's really important to understand why decisions are made, because whenever you understand a decision, you can actually give an explanation. So a lot of times a constituent may have an issue and they don't know the full story behind it.
Right.
And if
I
you
love
investigate
this,
it for them, if you understand and you can explain the net positive, you can explain the benefit that you're going to see in your life, it's a lot easier. So I do think that one of the challenges that the city of Broken Arrow faces is also something that we're really good at. With cities our size and where we continue to expand and look at development and new economic opportunities, to counterbalance that with the community member experience and the quality of life is very important to me. So we do that here in Broken Arrow very well. With the Rose District, you have the music. It's not just a place to shop and leave. It's not just a sales tax generating district. It's a community. The ice skating rink, farmers market, music, benches, trees. There's a lot of potential with New Orleans Square with that too. So that's something I really want to protect. That's something I really want to make sure that personality of Broken Arrow continues to be shown through decisions that are made in the future. So that's why I feel like I'd be a good board member or city council member.
That's appreciated because that's how we all feel on this council. So,
Yeah, I
any
agree.
questions?
What do you do right now? I'm trying to see.
Yeah, so I'm an
At St.
operations
Francis.
analyst.
Operations
Yeah,
analyst, okay.
So I'm an operations analyst for the Durable Medical Equipment Division of St.
Okay,
Francis.
okay.
And by the way, so the communication with the city and the innovations that we have as far as YouTube videos, Facebook posts, next to wrap, the fact that you all sent out a post about oxygen patients was brilliant because that helped my day a lot today. It really did. Yeah.
That is good to hear.
We do like to be very transparent, and we do love our citizens, even the ones that they definitely need that. So they need to know
Absolutely,
where to
yeah.
go for sure. So glad you like that.
My voice isn't always as shaky. I'm just nervous.
Yeah.
Just
Something
Understandable.
about that
Yeah.
podium. It's
Understandable.
very
Yeah.
strange. You step up there and it's all
Right.
things change. It's
Yeah.
very strange.
Sure.
All right. Any other questions?
Question.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
All right. oh, that's what it is. Next up is Bill Bickerstaff.
My name is, excuse me, my name is Bill Bigstaff, and I wanted to come, and I'm going to give you a shortened up time because I think we're getting pressed on it. My family and we lived in Broken Arrow for 36 years, but for 7 years we were out in another state taking care of my mother. And when my responsibilities with my mom were completed, my family and I decided to move back to Broken Arrow. Okay, and the time I've been here, I've built 2 businesses, one down in the other state when I was out and the one here. And in building the business, I was responsible for direction of the business, the budget of the business, the inventory, and understanding how business works. So I know how to read a financial statement in that aspect. I did spend 4 years in the military before. I spent a year in the military, met my wife, and then went on to school and came over to Broken Arrow after I finished college. Basically, I feel like my attributes would be that I know the financial aspects, and I can help on leadership and developing future plans because I've done that with 2 businesses. And any questions you have, I'll be happy to answer.
All right. What kind of business?
I worked in the copier and laser
Okay.
business.
So one of her references was one of our school board members, Debbie Taylor.
I worked with her extensively when she ran for her board member seat.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yep, she's a good lady.
All right. Any questions?
Okay,
All right,
appreciate
thank you,
that.
sir. All right, I believe this is nope. The next one is Mr. Wade Farquhar.
Good evening. So my name is Wade Farquhar. I am interested in serving on city council because I would like to work towards goals that bring together the sectors of housing and education and private industry. I think that they work very well together. I've seen it done well. I've seen it done wrong, and I'll tell you a little bit about that.
Okay.
So I love the city of Broken Arrow. I was raised here. I'm the son of a retired teacher who taught at BA High School for 30 years. I went to BA High School myself. I went to church right down the street when it was First Baptist. I wrestled in the first state championship team in 1998. And after graduating from high school, I moved away for 20 years. I returned home in 2020 to raise my kids here, to give them the same experiences that I had, and to bring the experiences that I had gained elsewhere and bring them back to Broken Arrow and invest them here. There's a small cohort, well, maybe not so small, but I know of a small cohort of people that have kind of have a similar story. We're raised here, we leave, and then we come back and invest here. So since returning, my son has graduated from Broken Arrow High School recently, which is fantastic in some ways and not in others. My daughter is a student at Vanguard Academy, and she's a wrestler on the girls wrestling team. I've continued to serve my Canadian clients while remotely and also while purchasing some and building homes in the Rose District. I initially entered college to major in wrestling, but when I found out that degree was not offered, I transferred and finished my bachelor's degree in biblical languages. I went to grad school in LA and studied international development. While I was there, I was able to serve with World Vision, doing community research and organizing in the MacArthur Park District. The intention was to use what I learned as a foreign missionary. But there was a more non-traditional track ahead of me. After grad school, I was hired by a company that moved me to Vancouver, Canada, to manage an acquisition of 2 separate businesses. I worked for that company for 4 years and then branched off and started my own accounting firm. And from that, I served as chief financial officer for a medium-sized business that employed about 200 people, but found my niche really as a CFO for multiple smaller businesses that have around 10 employees and do $2 to $5 million a year in revenue, which is probably a lot like 80% of businesses in Broken Arrow. I'm familiar with the needs of small businesses. I'm familiar with the needs of the small business owners who are actively involved in their businesses. I know the concerns. I know what it looks like. I know what the bank account looks like, and I know what is needed to make those businesses thrive. I also know small communities and how they need small businesses. And I know the challenges that can be dealt with in terms of making businesses work with the community. I also am familiar with the challenges for developing a reliable, skilled workforce and the external pressures that are faced by businesses in this realm. As I was working and living in other places, I saw how the sectors of housing and education and small business can work together to create a sustainable future. Unfortunately, I also saw planning models where the intersection of these three critical parts of the community were either completely overlooked and sometimes even set opposed to one another. I saw well-planned cities. I saw poorly planned cities. I like the well-planned cities. The intersection of housing and education and private industry is a sweet spot where we can all do well. But this intersection does require organizing. And if selected, this is exactly what I would want to work on the city council. I would depend on my relationships in the education sector, and I would work with my friends in the housing and real estate industry. I would also work with local small business owners while being keenly aware of their needs. One thing that does also concern me is that as a growing and prosperous community, we will inevitably face challenges in our community. The one that comes to my mind is homelessness. It is a growing problem across our country, and we have to be able to create compassionate and effective policies that support our local police so that they can be, oh man, I'm sorry.
Wrap up your thoughts.
I'll finish up. Support our local police and also offer better outcomes for a successful integration for those that live on the margins. The integration of education and housing and private industry is the proactive approach to dealing with that problem. Our schools need to be a feeder system for our businesses, and our housing has to be built so that there are clear and affordable tiers for every stage of a family's life. I thank you for your consideration, and I look forward to working together with you to build our community and our future.
Thank you. I think your mom was, I pretty much have known her my whole life. She was my Tyget sponsor so, when I was at Broken Arrow. So when I saw your name, I was like, it's got to be her son. Yeah. There's not too many bars.
One question that came across my mind. So you work in development, or yes or no?
No, I'm an accountant.
So you're an
For small
accountant.
businesses,
Okay.
Yes.
Well, okay. So I wanted to make sure because when we were talking about like things that we have to approve in the city,
Yes.
that I just want to make sure there's no conflicts there because
Yes, I understand that question. And I privately, I do, well, I've bought a couple of homes here and I'm currently building one. So yes, there are things that Way here. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you for coming out.
Thank you.
And my daughter also graduated in 18 and was a Tigette. So our daughters were Tigettes together. So I'm like, what's her? I won't ask her, huh?
That's what I heard.
I heard Okay.
that from my wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Thank
I think that is the last one. I don't think we had any, we had one that submitted actually today, but ended up, they were not in the ward or they weren't there long enough. Which one? I
I
can't
think it was,
remember.
they're long enough.
They
Hadn't lived
were-
there.
Okay.
They were not
Okay.
in the ward.
They weren't not
Oh,
in
they
the
were not
ward.
in the ward. I thought it was long-
You
one-
definitely have to
one
be
in
in
the
the
You're
ward.
right. Yes, sir. Yeah, they weren't in for 6 months.
All right. So we can adjourn and have the discussion in the regular meeting, or we can have discussion now. I was thinking we would have further discussion at the regular meeting and possibly make an appointment then. So entertain either way.
I'd like to make a comment first.
Sure.
And I haven't changed my mind any. You guys did a great job tonight. You know, I've been here for many years. You still get nervous when you talk sometimes. So don't let that bother you, because it's just kind of a nervous type atmosphere. I did print off all of the resumes, all the applications when I got them on Friday. I looked over them then. I looked over them twice today. I voted on each one of you, and I voted 5 of you in. So that's how tough it will be. But that being said, I'll tell you that I really believe still this needs to go to election of the people because of the way this came about. I say that I know the city sent out a lot of stuff on appointments that we've made. I've been on the council for many, many years, and I've been involved with a lot of those appointments, and I know that. Jerry Townsend, who ended up being the vice mayor, I really pushed her and asked her to be appointed, and she did. One of the best votes that I ever made, because she was a great city councilor. I nominated her. I made the motion. You know what I mean, that we appoint her. So I've been involved with a lot of appointments. In fact, the oldest counselor and the longest term counselor that's ever been on a city council was an appointee. And he was appointed in 1978. And he's still serving on the council. So I believe in the appointment process, but I also believe in the voting process. And in this case, the person who won had to step down for whatever reason within the first 24, 25 days. And so that negated, to me, in my mind, the 4,500 votes that voted in that election on both sides. So I understand where the council's going on this, and we've disagreed on other things before. I just think that you all need to be running for election and being voted on by the citizens, because this was an unusual situation. So that being said, I'll just leave it at that. The OML book, I did research it too. It does talk about the 2 shalls that we've all talked about, and they say there's 2 opportunities when this comes up, and there's 2 shalls. The first shall, and if you don't do that shall, then you do the second shall. So I'm not negating what the council might be doing and voting somebody. I'm just telling you, I'll not be a part of that, because I feel like it needs to be a vote of the citizens. I think we need to take it back to them. And by not appointing somebody, it automatically goes back to them. So, but you guys did a great job tonight, and 5 of you won it in my mindset. You did a great job in presentation. I will tell you that councilman back in 1978, there was just a knock on my door, and at the door was the mayor and the vice mayor of Broken Arrow, and they wanted to come in and visit with me. There was no call, there was no anything else. They come in and
No
wanted
text.
me, no text. Text, yeah, right. There was no text. But the vice mayor needed to move out of town, and they wanted me to replace him, and I told them I'd pray about it and go from there. So if it hadn't been for the knock on the door, I could still be fishing a lot more. But anyway, you did a great job, and the council will be very professional at anything that they do in this situation.
Thank you, Johnny. And we're so glad you were appointed in 1978. Yes. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out because I know it's not easy and it seemed like really fast that you had to make this decision and it's pretty life-changing. I mean, it is life-changing once you are appointed or elected. I agree there is two shalls, but it says to shall do one. And then if you can't do one, which is what we're exercising now. So if we were unable to come to a majority decision at the regular council meeting, then we would move to the next shall and there would be a special election. So any further discussion?
This is so
Hard.
It is.
But what a
I
good
mean,
problem to have.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
this
mean,
is,
honestly.
and I don't know how to ask this question because I would like to know how many of these nine
Nine.
people
Nine,
would-
Yes.
Counting would.
Yeah.
would run if we had a special election.
They're here, we
You
got
have
time.
You can ask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what, I would like to know because because going through an election is a difficult thing and it's very different than getting up here and talking. And so I would like to know and who would actually run for election if we had a special election.
Well, and
So-
really, it's 2 elections because in 2 years they'll run, and in 2 more years they'll have to run.
Well,
No,
no, if we had a special election, they would fill,
Yeah, if we don't
They would-
appoint and we
they
go
would go
straight.
the
to-
whole way.
Yeah.
it would
Okay.
be the whole term.
Okay.
Through 2027. So, okay, let me see.
We got one in the back.
So you really would? Like you're not like halfway would? Like you,
You want us to tell you some
I
stories?
mean, yeah. You want me to tell you a scary story about like,
Yeah.
no. Okay. Because how do we,
Can you come up front?
yeah,
sir,
just,
so we can hear you.
Yeah, we have.
we have a little bit of time. So I just feel like this is an important
is.
decision and it's a hard decision.
These are the questions I'd like to ask. If you decide to go to an election, then how long are you going to open it up for a signing period? And then how long would the campaign be? And what date would you have the election?
Would it be around, if I'm not mistaken, September 12th is what the date we were looking at, maybe?
So I
It would
would,
have to be.
if you'd like me to answer that question, Mayor, I can. It would be approximately September, I think, would be the opportunity where the Tulsa County Election Board has an election for filling a vacancy. Some of their elections are just for special questions. Some of them are filling the vacancy. And so that would be assuming that there's no appointment by July the 11th. And so we would have to work back from that date for the filing period. There would be a very narrow time for the applications, and it would be probably about a week period. I don't have that calendar in front of me, but it would be approximately September.
And then what kind of election would it be? Would it be a plurality or would if you have or would you go to a runoff?
No, it's
plurality.
always
It's a-
whoever has the most.
It's the most.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And technically, our regular elections, the filing date is the first Tuesday in February, and then the elections first week in April. So it's almost the same timeline that from our filing to our elections and when most people are campaigning. Some obviously start much sooner than that, obviously, but
Yeah. Okay. That's what I want to find out.
Because we legally can't go to, we have to give 60 days. Is that correct?
So when we work with the election board, when they select that date, there's a complicated formula that we have to apply. And so that sounds right, but again, I don't have.
Well, I
that.
mean, like we have to, like we can't make a decision to go to a special election before 60 days. Like we have to like.
Oh, and the
be
process for the
trying
appointment.
To get. an
Right, so
appointment.
you legally cannot call for the special election until
after
July 11th.
Okay,
So the first 60 days, you have the opportunity to fill the seat by appointment. After that 60 days, which would be July 11th, it would have to be calling a special election.
yeah. Further discussion?
I don't right now.
So what are we going to do? We're going to do it in the, going to vote in the regular council meeting? Is that
Yes, sir.
what you said?
The agenda's not set up for you to take any action with regard to appointment. It's in the regular session.
Right.
So there's no further discussion, then
Yes, ma'am.
we entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Ford,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Gillespie,
Yes.
Wimpy.
Yes. We are adjourned until 6:30.
Put everything on top of each other. I got one. If you need some more.
Mine says I need to install Windows 11. I don't know if it'll let me do anything or if we need to, do I just close it out?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it'll pop up.
All right. Do you want to like tear down the whole system if I click close it out?
you have Trevor.
We're